right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the lunch break. We are now ready to resume with the case. Mr. Mayfield, call your next witness, please.
The state having presented a case in chief will now rest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the state rests at this time. The state is not calling further witnesses for your consideration at this time. We now turn to the defendants. Mr. Wimbush, the state having rested, do you have any witnesses you wish to call?
No.
No witnesses? All right. The defense calls Ezekiel Wimbush. You can come to the podium, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will follow a similar protocol as used in the earlier portion of the trial. This is a minor child witness, and you will be able to view and hear their testimony via the camera located in the courtroom. Mr. Wimbush, come to the podium. Hyatt, if you can access the remote witness room, and if you could, Mr. Wimbush, spell Ezekiel for the court reporter, please.
Ezekiel, E-Z-E-K-I-E-L.
And I'll just have some opening remarks before you begin your questioning, sir.
Can you close that? Or,
All right, Mr. Sapella, this is Judge Fluker. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Judge.
All right, and for purposes of the jury and the record, you are the person that is operating the camera equipment in the witness room. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and may I have the aunt that is in camera range, if you can identify yourself for the record and spell your name for me, please.
Philandis Wimbush, P-H-I-L-A-N-D-I-S, Wimbush, W-I-M-B-U-S-H.
All right, and good afternoon, young man. Are you Ezekiel?
Can you speak up real loud, okay?
Can you hear me, Ezekiel?
Yes.
All right. I'm Judge Fluker. How are you doing today?
Good.
All right. All I need you to do for me is to speak up loud, and if you can, don't shake your head yes or no like I'm doing right now. If you could just always give us an answer out loud, that would be helpful, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. You can proceed, Mr. Wimbush.
Hey, Ezekiel, how you doing?
Good.
What grade are you in now?
First.
You're five. You say what?
First grade.
First grade? All right. You enjoying school?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, I got a few questions for you. This is the first question I got for you. Do you remember growing up with mom and
No.
No? Okay. It's been a long time. Do you remember sleeping in the same room with your siblings?
What?
Do you remember sleeping in the same room with your siblings?
What?
Okay, hold on for just a second. Can we confirm that there's not any hearing issues in the room, that the microphones... Mr. Sapella, can you hear Judge Fluker?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Judge.
All right, and are you able to hear Mr. Wimbush asking the questions? I just want to make sure there are not any issues as far as being able to hear what's being asked from the courtroom.
We can hear him clearly. The volume is turned all the way up.
Okay, very good. You can proceed, Mr. Wimbush.
All right. Again, Ezekiel, do you remember sleeping with your siblings in the same room?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What are your siblings' names?
My family's name?
That too. Do you remember? My family. What's your family's name?
One Jeremiah, one Isaiah, patience, serenity, love, faith, and Recardo.
Okay, the court recalled, and Mr. Wimbush, you can correct me, what I heard was hope, patience, serenity, love, Isaiah, Recardo, and I may have missed some.
And Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Thank you, Ezekiel. Can I get you to just speak as loud as you can for me, please?
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Did you enjoy sleeping in the same room with your siblings?
Yes.
Yes. How was life growing up with your siblings?
Fine.
Fine. What kind of things did you do?
Sometimes I play on a watch.
Play on the watch? That's right. All right. How would you describe your parents?
I don't know what describe means.
All right. What would you say about your parents? Let's put it that way. Do they love you? Do they take care of you?
They take care of you.
Little Recardo, Ezekiel, can you tell me about him when you were growing up? Did you hear me, Ezekiel?
Yes.
Can you tell me about your...
I don't remember that.
Okay. All right. Did y'all have rules at your house, Ezekiel?
Yes.
What kind of rules did you have?
We will have to clean up the whole house to play the Wii U.
Play the what?
The Wii U.
The Wii U. Okay. Do you have any other rules?
If we left Legos on the house, on the ground, instead of a placemat, a playmat, we will get spanking.
Okay. All right. Do you have any rules about lying?
No, they didn't tell me those.
You say what?
They didn't tell us those.
Who is they?
Our mom and dad didn't tell us then.
Mom and dad? How old were you when you left home, Ezekiel?
Fine.
5. When's the last time you seen your dad?
Yeah, Mr. Wimbush, the court has outlined parameters that have been discussed. And so I do find that that is, I sustain the objection, so that is not an appropriate question.
That's all it was. Thank you, Ezekiel. Love you.
All right, Ezekiel, Mrs. Wimbush may have some questions for you.
Hello, Ezekiel. Hey, Ezekiel Wiki.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. What exactly does good mean? don't know. Can you tell me who is your oldest sister? Joy. And who's your oldest brother? Ricardo. Do you remember your mommy and daddy teaching you that you always tell the truth? No? Do you remember building Legos in the Lego room?
Yeah.
What do you remember building?
Batman.
Anything else? No. Do you still have your playmat?
Yeah.
Are you taking good care of it?
Yeah.
Do you remember Isaiah being sick at home?
No.
Do you remember him ever throwing up at home?
No.
Did you play with Isaiah a lot when you were at home?
Not that much.
You didn't? Who did you play with?
Sometimes I play Serenity.
Did you play with Jeremiah too?
He don't like to play with me.
He doesn't like to play with you now?
No.
Do you remember playing the Wii with mommy and daddy?
Yeah.
Yes. Was that fun?
Yes.
Yeah. Ezekiel, has Isaiah been sick a lot with you now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you help him when he's sick?
No, I do.
Oh, okay. Well, does it make you sad when he's sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any more questions for you. Thank you, Ezekiel.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mayfield, any questions? All right, Mr. Sapello, we are done with this witness. Mr. Wimbush, the next witness will be? All right, Mr. Sapello, the next witness will be Jeremiah.
Okay.
All right, Jeremiah, this is Judge Fluker. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
All right, very good. You just did great. You're speaking nice and loud for me. That's all I need you to do is speak loud, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Your dad, Mr. Wimbush, may have some questions for you, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Jeremiah, how you doing?
Good.
Good. How's school?
Good.
Kind of grades you make?
A's and B's?
A's and B's. Good. Good. You enjoying it?
Yes.
Jeremiah, I have a few questions for you. Answer the best you can, okay?
Okay.
Could you explain to me what it was like for you when you were growing up with your mom and dad?
It was fun.
It was fun. Kind of things. What was fun about it?
Play with them?
Playing with them. All right. In your home, did you have rules at home?
Yeah.
You had rules. Do you remember any of those rules?
No.
No. Was there a rule about always tell the truth?
think so.
Think so. You didn't follow the rules. You know what happened?
No.
No. Okay. Who are your siblings?
Their names?
Yeah, their names.
Ezekiel, Isaiah, Serenity, Patience, Love, Faith, Joy, and Hope.
What's your oldest brother's name?
Recardo.
Okay. Have you seen Ricardo lately?
Yeah.
Saw him today?
I saw him yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. Can you tell me about Ricardo?
He's been good.
He's been good. What else?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you remember Ricardo when you were growing up?
Yeah.
What kind of things did you and Ricardo do some things together when you were growing up?
I don't know.
Did you do any kind of activities when you were growing up? Like gymnastics?
Yeah.
What kind of activities did you
Play games.
do? Play games? What about go to gymnastics?
No.
Did you go to dance?
No.
Did you all sleep in the same room?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy sleeping in the same room?
Yeah.
You didn't do what you were supposed to do. What was how were you disciplined? Remember?
No.
All right. Thank you, Jeremiah. I love you.
I love you too.
Ms. Wimbush, any questions?
Hey, Mr. Jeremiah, your man who? How are you?
Good.
Good. And you're doing good in school?
Yeah.
And school is good?
Yeah.
And everything is good?
Yeah.
Do you remember which one of your siblings at home, when you were at home, which one of your siblings used to get in trouble a lot?
I don't know.
You don't know. Did you get in trouble a lot?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. Did you like to keep the Lego room clean?
Yes.
What was the one main rule in the Lego room?
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean? Do you remember the rule? No Legos on the floor? Absolutely no Legos on the floor?
No.
Now, have you been building with Legos?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you remember Isaiah being sick when he was at home?
No.
No. Do you remember him ever throwing up?
No.
No. Does he throw up a lot now?
Yeah.
Does he get sick a lot now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you help him out when he's not feeling very well?
No,
No? Well, why not?
because I don't want to get sick either.
You don't want to get sick? Okay. Do you remember that bump on Isaiah's tummy?
Yeah,
So do you know what's happened? Has anything happened to it?
it's shrunken.
It's shrunken, and then what else happened?
I don't know anything else.
You don't know anything else? Thank you, Jeremiah. I love you, handsome.
I love you too.
Ms. Mayfield? All right. Mr. Wimbush, who will be the next witness? All right, Mr. Sapella, Serenity is the next witness, please.
Okay. Here we go. All right.
Hi, are you Serenity?
Yes.
All right, I'm Judge Fluker. Can you see me and hear me just fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your parents may have some questions for you, so the only thing I need you to do is speak up as loud as you can. Can you do that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you. Mr. Wimbush?
Hey, Serenity, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Long time no see. How's school?
Good.
Good. What grade are you in?
Second.
Second. You like school?
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Say what? What'd you say? Said so.
Yes, so.
Huh?
I said yes, so.
You guess so? Yes.
Yes.
Oh. We got some questions for you, Serenity. Answer the best you can, okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you remember growing up at home with mom and dad?
No, so.
No. Do you remember sleeping in the same room with your siblings?
Yes, so.
What do you like to do, Serenity? What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing is to draw.
To draw? Still like dancing?
Yes, so.
Yes. Do you have rules at home?
Huh?
Do you have rules at home?
I forgot.
You forgot? Do you remember what kind of things you did while you were at home?
School.
School? What else?
Watch Barney.
You say what?
Watch Barney.
Watch Barney. You like Barney?
Yes, so.
Yes. You remember sleeping in the same room with your siblings growing up?
Yes, so.
Did you like that?
Yes, so.
What kind of stuff did you do while you were in that same room? Did you jump in the bed?
No, so.
Did you jump in the bed?
No, so.
Okay. You remember the main rule in the house was always tell the truth?
Yes, so.
Remember that? Still telling the truth all the time?
Yes, so.
Good. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you, Serenity. I love you.
Love you too.
Ms. Wimbush?
Hey, Miss Serenity. Hey, Gracie. How are you doing, sweetie?
Good.
Good. So what did you like about being in the sleep room with your sibling?
That I get to sleep with people.
You get to sleep with people? Did you like to sleep in the bed with mommy and daddy too?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I had a question for you. Do you remember which one of your siblings got in trouble the most when you were at
Yes,
home?
ma'am.
Who was it?
Yes, Ricardo.
Do you remember any of the things that Ricardo did?
No, ma'am.
You don't. How many siblings do you have?
10.
You have 10 total?
No.
Do you have a dog?
You do.
I do. What was your doggy's name?
I don't have a dog.
The doggy that you had at home, what was his name?
Buddy.
Buddy. What was your kitty's name?
Buzz.
Buzz. You remember. When you were at home, do you remember Isaiah ever being sick?
No, ma'am.
No. Do you remember him ever throwing up?
No, ma'am.
No. Do you remember anybody ever throwing up?
No, ma'am.
You remember anybody being sick?
No, ma'am.
No. Do you remember building your Legos?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember how to knit?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still knitting?
I don't got yarn.
You don't have yarn. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Mr. Mayfield? All right, Mr. Wimbush, next witness. Mr. Sapella, the next witness is Love.
Okay. Good job.
Okay.
Hi, are you Love?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm Judge Fluker. Can you see me and hear me just fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're doing great. All I need you to do is just answer out as loud as you can if anybody has any questions for you. Can you do that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wimbush.
Hey, love, how you doing?
Good.
Good. How you enjoying school?
It's okay.
It's okay. What's okay about it?
Everything.
Everything? Still got braces?
No, sir.
Got them taken out? Got them taken out?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember growing up at home with your mom and dad and siblings?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Could you tell me about that? Did you like it?
Yes, sir.
Have a good time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did y'all have rules at home? what those rules were? Some of them?
I remember we had to clean.
Clean? Was there a rule about lying?
Yes, sir.
What was that rule?
Don't lie.
Well, I always tell the truth.
Yes, sir.
What happened when you didn't follow the rule?
You got a spanking.
Get talked to sometimes as well?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember sleeping in the same room with your siblings?
Yes, sir.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes, sir.
Are you still are you sharing a room now with someone?
Yes, sir.
Who are you sharing a room with?
Faith.
Faith. Who is Faith?
My sister.
Your twin sister?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember Recardo growing up?
A little bit.
What was Recardo like?
He didn't always tell the truth.
Didn't always tell the truth. What about your parents? What do you remember about your parents? Were they loving?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
They taught me.
They taught you? What kind of things did they teach you?
Like some stuff I learned at school.
Say what?
Like stuff I learned at school.
You have to speak up a little bit. They can understand.
Like math and ELA.
Math and what else?
ELA and reading.
Okay. Repeat that again. Say it a little bit louder.
Math, ELA, and reading.
Math and reading.
What did she say in between reading? Did you understand? Okay, love, this is Judge Fluker. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you said math and reading, and what was the other thing you said?
ELA.
That's all I have, love. Thank you, babe. Love you.
Love too.
All right, Mrs. Wimbush, any questions? That's the camera that's on top of the TV. They'll be able to see. You can try it.
Hey, love, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Where's your playmat?
TT's taking care of it.
Have you made another playmat? Have you been knitting lately?
Not really.
Not really. What do you do for fun?
I read for color.
Okay. Do you still build with Legos?
I don't have any Legos to build with.
Do you still run a mile every morning?
No, ma'am.
No. Do you remember the bump on Isaiah's tummy when you were at home?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you do. Can I try to show you? I'm gonna try to show you a picture. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'd like to. My question for you is this what his bump looked like when you were at home?
Mr. Sapella, Mrs. Wimbush is holding up a photograph. Is that something that's visible at all in that witness room?
No, we can tell that it's a photograph, but no details.
Is there any way to zoom in the photograph, or does the picture need to be closer to the camera in the courtroom?
Yes, you'd have to bring it up to the camera that's on top of the unit.
All right. Can you assist us with that? Okay. Give us, just pause for just a moment, Mr. Sapella. We're making some adjustments
Okay.
in the courtroom.
The picture is exhibit number 26. State's exhibit number 26.
All right, Mr. Sapella, or is that something that can be seen in the witness room at this time, the photograph that's being held up?
Yes, we can see it now, Judge.
All right, Love, can you see the photograph that's being held up?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Wimbush, go ahead and ask your question.
Is this what Isaiah's bump looked like when he was at home?
I think it was smaller.
Okay. Thank you. Do you remember Isaiah ever being sick at home?
He wheezed and coughed.
Do you remember Isaiah throwing up at home?
Yes, ma'am.
When did he throw up?
I don't remember when he threw up, but I remember him throwing up.
Do you remember him throwing up at someone else's house when he ate some Lucky Charms?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Do you have a sibling that used to get in trouble a lot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me who that sibling is?
Recardo,
And do you remember why he would get in trouble?
because he lied.
He lied? Did he do anything else?
I don't know.
You don't remember, or you don't know? I think I see you have a purple phone on, a purple case on your phone. Is that what that is? I'm kind of surprised to see you in a green shirt. Is purple still your favorite color?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Love, when you were at home, where was Ricardo's room when you left home?
In the basement.
Do you remember ever going in Ricardo's room?
Ma'am.
No. Have you seen Isaiah's belly lately?
No, ma'am.
No. Do Do you know if Isaiah's feeling well or if he's sick?
Yeah.
No. So have you still been dancing? Have you been watching the I Can't Dance video?
Yeah.
No. So what do you like to do?
To read and play with color.
Do you like to watch television?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Do you still watch My Little Pony?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Is Pinkie Pie still your favorite pony?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That's all I have for you. Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
Ms. Mayfield? Mr. Wimbush, who will be the next witness, please? Mr. Sapella, we need Faith next, please.
Faith, okay.
Hi, are you Faith?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Judge Fluker. Can you see and hear me just fine?
Yes.
Okay, all I need you to do is speak as loud as you can if anybody has any questions for you. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. How you doing, babe?
Good.
How's school?
Good.
Good. What grade you in?
6.
6. What kind of grades are you making?
XP.
You always tell the truth?
Ms. Wimbush, I need to give her an opportunity to answer the first question. So Faith, the first question that was asked is, what do you remember about little Ricardo? If you can, answer that question for us, please.
He got speaking because he didn't tell the truth all the time.
That it? All right, babe, that's all the questions I have for you. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, Mrs. Wimbush, any questions? No? All right, Mr. Zamora, if you can help us zoom in the camera for the picture again, please. You need to hold it up so that you can zoom in.
Hey, can you see that picture?
Yes.
Do you remember the bump on Isaiah's belly?
Yes.
Is this what it looked like when he was at home?
Well, it wasn't that big. It was like smaller.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to start off with that, but how are you doing, sweetheart?
Good.
Do you remember teaching one of your siblings how to knit?
I remember trying to teach Ezekiel how to knit, and I think I taught Gracie how to knit too.
Do you remember teaching Recardo how to knit?
No.
You don't. Who taught you how to knit?
Well, his think he had flu, but she didn't do very well. So Mommy had taught us how to knit.
Do you remember Isaiah ever being sick at home?
No,
Do you remember Isaiah throwing up at home?
no.
No. What did you and your family used to do in the morning?
We would go on a walk around the neighborhood.
Do you remember doing yoga?
Yes.
Yeah. Where'd you do yoga?
In the driveway.
In the driveway. You said that when you were answering Daddy's question about who your siblings are, you answered it based on who slept in the room with you. You said Ricardo first, and then you said he didn't sleep in the room with you. Where was Ricardo's room? Did Ricardo ever sleep in the room with you?
I don't remember.
Do you remember Ricardo's bed being by the window?
Yes.
Yes. Whose bed was next to Ricardo's?
I think it was Isaiah's bed.
Isaiah's bed. And whose bed was next to Isaiah?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Did you have fun in the sleep room? Do you remember jumping into bed in the sleep room? Now, where was Ricardo's room? When you left home, where was Ricardo's room?
Basement.
Do you remember why Ricardo's room was in the basement? He was what?
He was not telling the truth.
He was not telling the truth. Was he doing anything else?
He was stealing food.
He was what?
Stealing food.
Stealing food. If all of you got in trouble, did Ricardo get a spanking along with all of you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever remember Ricardo getting sent to his room instead of getting a spanking? You don't remember? Are you taking good care of your sisters? Were you excited to see your brothers yesterday or whenever you saw them? Yeah. Are you taking good care of patients? Are you taking good care of Joy? Or does Joy take care of you?
She seems to be taking care of us.
So let me ask you this. When did you get your braces off?
We got them off in November.
Can you show us your beautiful smile? Thank you. I don't have any more questions. Thank you so much, Faith. It's good to see you.
Mr. Mayfield? No question. All right, Mr. Wimbush, who will be the next witness, please? All right, Mr. Wimbush has no further witnesses. Mrs. Wimbush, any further witnesses? Yes, Hope Wimbush. All right, Mr. Sapella, we need Hope in the room next, please. Pursuant to matters that have been previously addressed by the court, I do sustain the state's objection regarding questioning of these minor children witnesses regarding the treatment of these children as not being relevant. So that is sustained for the record. Hi, I'm Judge Fluker. Can you see and hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The only thing I need for you to do is to speak up loud and clear for me if anybody has any questions for you. Can you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Wimbush?
Hello, Ms. Hope.
Hi, Mommy.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. How's school going?
Okay.
Okay, what does okay mean?
I got 1 C.
You got a C? Were you disappointed about that? Know how that feels. So are you taking good care of your siblings?
I'm trying.
You're trying? Thank you. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember why Ricardo's room was in the basement?
I remember that he lied a lot, and he didn't really want to tell the truth, and y'all had discussed it, and he said that he would rather go in the basement than get whoopings.
Okay. Very detailed answer. Thank you.
Ms. Wimbush, if you'll just stick to asking questions and not providing comments.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember Ricardo doing anything else?
He violated some of our siblings' privacy.
And what do you mean by that?
He inappropriately touched some of them.
Okay. Does that mean he hit them as to try to hurt them, or?
No, like, he violated their personal parts.
Okay. So, did you grow up in the house with Ricardo Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what Ricardo was like? Was it fun to play with Ricardo, or?
It was fun to play with him.
It was fun to play with him. What kind of things did you play with him, or what kind of games did you play?
We played with Legos, and we went outside together, and we played with some toys in the toy room, and ran around the house.
Do you remember taking any dance classes? Did Ricardo take dance classes too?
And gymnastics too.
Did anybody play baseball or t-ball?
Ricardo did. Joy played softball. He played basketball as well.
Okay. Do you remember Ricardo? No, you would. Do you remember Ricardo doing karate? So tell me about how your parents treated Ricardo.
Well, to me, like, I know what he did with Mom, but I don't know how to say it. It's like, at the time it didn't seem like it was a bad thing to do, but now I guess that I see that there are other ways that we could have dealt with it than putting him down there in the basement and by himself.
Okay. So you have had some time to think about this, huh? Okay. So have you talked to Ricardo about it? No? Why not?
He seems kind of closed off.
He seems closed off. What do you mean by that?
He doesn't seem to want to talk to anybody or say anything to anybody. He just seems cut off from everybody.
So when you try to talk to him, what does he say?
He'll answer sometimes, and then sometimes he won't.
Oh, okay. Do you get to see him often? No? You have to answer with the word answer. You can't shake your head.
No,
No?
I don't get. No.
Do you miss him?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember Isaiah going to the hospital at some time?
We were at a wedding when he went to the hospital.
Do you remember if the bump was on his tummy when he went to the hospital?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Can I show you a picture of Isaiah's tummy?
All right, Ms.
Yes.
Wimbush, you'll have to give the IT person a moment to zoom in on the picture. If you'll hold it up and pause for a moment so he can zoom in.
They got a lot bigger.
So this isn't what it looked like when he was at home?
No,
No? You said that looks a lot bigger?
a lot bigger.
Okay. Do you remember Isaiah ever being sick?
Like when the pollen season came around, he got a little bit like he would start sneezing and blowing his nose a lot.
Do you remember Isaiah ever throwing up?
No,
No. Do you remember Isaiah ever saying that the bump on his tummy hurt him?
no,
Do you ever remember him saying that it bothered him?
no.
No. Have you seen Isaiah lately?
Not recently.
Not recently. You didn't see him today?
No.
No. So, while Ricardo was in the basement, do you remember Mommy or Daddy going down and spending long times talking to him?
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember having to wait on somebody, wait on Mommy or Daddy to eat because Mommy or Daddy were downstairs spending time with Ricardo?
Yes.
Yeah. really know what else to ask you. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I guess.
Yes. Thank you for helping to take care of your siblings. I appreciate that. Love you, Miss Hope.
Love you too.
Mr. Mayfield?
Hi, Hope. I'm Dan. We've never met before, but hi. You seem like a very smart young lady to me. Where did you learn the term violated their personal privacy?
What do you mean by that question?
Well, you said that Ricardo violated the privacy of some siblings. I was just wondering where you heard the term violated their personal privacy. You know where you heard that term?
No.
Is that something y'all have discussed in the family where you live now?
No.
Okay. When Ricardo was in the basement, did your parents tell you that was all right? That was a good thing that he was in the basement? Did everybody think that was right?
It wasn't like meant to be something that was right. It was like a punishment for what he had done. So I don't think so.
Have you always told the truth, or have you ever told just a little lie?
I'm pretty sure that I've told little lies before.
Okay. So, if it was okay to send Ricardo to the basement room for lying, would it have been okay to send you to the basement room for lying?
Well, he got sent to the basement for lying for bigger things than what I would have ever told a lie about. So I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay. So you're telling me that his lies were just different than your lies?
I guess.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Wimbush, next witness. You can, but you did indicate to the court that you didn't have any further witnesses, but I will allow you, Mr. Wimbush, to go ahead and ask a question.
Hey, Hope, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
How old are you now?
13,
13. What grade are you in?
8th grade.
Like school?
I would prefer to be homeschooled, but it's okay.
Little Ricardo, when he was growing up, did he have a problem with, it's called enuresis, it's called peeing in the bed?
Yes.
Remember peeing in the bed? And what would he do when he peed in the bed?
Well, when he was asked that he peed in the bed, he would lie and say he didn't.
Did Ricardo just lie once or twice or 3 times? Or was it?
He lied repeatedly.
And even after he was talked to about it, he was still lying?
Yes.
You remember the book Alpha and Omega?
Yes.
You remember the story behind that?
Yes.
Could you tell me about it?
I don't remember how we came to be looking for the book, but we were looking for it. And he kept on saying that I was the last one that had it, and we was looking through all of the bookshelves on the side of the toy room. And he kept on saying, "Oh, what did you do with the book?" And he was playing like it was a game, saying, "Come out, book, come out." And then I started crying because I thought I had lost the book. And so we went downstairs, and we thought that we were all going to get in trouble, but somehow Mommy knew where the book was at. And so I think it was you and me, we went downstairs and looked between the mattress and the box spring, and we found the book there. We went back upstairs, and we showed them that we had found the book.
You said it made you started crying because Ricardo blamed you for it. How did Ricardo feel after all this went down?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
What did Ricardo do after all this happened?
He didn't seem like he showed any remorse for it. Like, he didn't seem like he felt bad about saying that I was the last one that had it.
Was this common amongst Ricardo?
Yes.
That's all the question I have. Love you, Hope.
Love you too.
Oh, it's me again, it's Dan.
But when the Alpha and Omega book was taken, was Ricardo already living in the little blue room that's in the basement?
I don't remember.
Where was the book found? Was it found in the little blue room that he slept in, or was it found in a different room?
I don't remember exactly what room it was found in.
But you remember it being between the mattress and the wall?
It wasn't, I remember it being between the mattress and the box, and that was all I remembered about it.
Okay. Do you think that was when he was living in the small room in the basement, or do you think that was when he was still living upstairs and sleeping with y'all in the sleeping room? Which do you think?
It wasn't upstairs, he was in the basement.
He was in the basement, okay. And so in the basement, did he have any books of his own in the basement?
No.
How many books do you think there were upstairs where y'all lived? Was there more than 100? Or less than 100?
Most likely more than 100.
And those were books that y'all could read?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, could Ricardo read those books that were upstairs with y'all?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he read those books that were upstairs with y'all?
Yes.
Did he read them even when his room was in the basement?
Yes.
So, do you remember Ricardo asking for permission a lot?
Permission for what?
For anything, like to read a book or to... Let me change that question. Do you remember Ricardo having an issue with asking for permission?
Yes.
Oh, was Ricardo a bad person?
No.
No. Did he do some not so good things?
Yes.
But that doesn't make him a bad person, does it?
No.
No. You said that there were other ways to deal with Ricardo. And I think you're right.
Sorry, stick to asking questions and not to making comments.
Do you feel like your mommy and daddy mistreated Ricardo?
Objection. Relevance of honor. There was a relationship between parent and child. Another sibling's interpretation of that sibling's interpretation is speculative and it's not relevant.
That's the same.
Let's talk about Isaiah. What was Isaiah like at home?
He was like very vibrant and happy all the time. He would be running around the house. He always had a smile on his face. And he didn't really ever have anything to complain about.
So, do you call that like happy? You said vibrant.
It was like, it's happy. I think another word for it was like vivacious or something like that.
Okay. Do you know the last time you saw Isaiah was?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevant.
Ms. Wimbush, what would be the relevance of that?
To ask about the bump on his tummy?
You can ask, rephrase your question for a relevant time period, but not misphrased.
Oh, when is the last time you saw the bump on Isaiah's tummy?
I think the last time I saw the bump on his tongue was the last time that I saw him, which was for Grandma Betty's birthday.
Okay. And what did the bump look like then?
It had like spread across his tummy.
What do you mean?
When we were at home, it was like only one bump on one side of him, and then it had like spread across.
Okay. So did it look like it had gotten worse?
Yes.
Now you said you saw him around Grandma Betty's birthday. Was that in September of 2016?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I had. Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Wimbush, you indicated you have no further witnesses. I can't hear you. Speak up. Who's your next witness? All right, Mr. Sapella, we need Joy in the witness room, please.
Okay, Judge.
Hi, are you Joy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm Judge Fluker. Are you able to see and hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the only thing I'm going to ask for you is that you speak loud enough so that we can hear your answers if anyone has any questions for you. Can you do that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wimbush?
Hello, Joy, how you doing?
Good.
How's school?
Good.
Good. Growing up so much.
Need you to speak up, Mr.
You've
Wimbush.
grown up so much. Got a few questions for you, Joy. So answer them the best you can. What was it like growing up at home with mom and dad and your siblings?
It was good.
Good.
I liked it better than I like it now.
Y'all have rules at your home?
We had rules.
What was some of the rules?
We had to ask for permission before we did stuff. And
What about the truth?
I can't. Huh?
What about the truth rule?
We always had to tell the truth. If nobody asked you about the truth, you still had to confess.
If you did not follow the rules, how were you disciplined?
We got a spanking.
Making. Y'all get talked to sometimes?
Yes, sir.
Sleeping arrangements. What were the sleeping arrangements in your home?
We had we slept in the master bedroom, and the girls were on one side and the boys were on the other side.
And initially, was everyone in that room?
Yes, sir.
And how did you feel about that?
It felt safe. Like there was always somebody there.
How would you describe it?
Describe what?
Let's see.
loving. They always try to do what was best for us.
Yes, sir. You want me to allow Ms. Wimbush to question and then give you a chance to come back? All right. Ms. Wimbush?
Hello, beautiful.
Hey, Mom.
How are you doing, Miss Joy?
All right, Mr. Sapella, we're going to take a short recess and we'll be in touch with you in the remote room when we are ready to resume.
Okay.
All right.
Judge.
And Hyatt, if you could turn off the camera for us in here, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a 15-minute recess. This will be our mid-afternoon recess. Please remember your precautionary instructions during the break.
He got a spanking for that.
So, did it happen frequently that that one of you would try to tell Ricardo to do something that was right and he didn't do it?
Yes, ma'am.
How about when Ricardo lied on you or on anyone else? Did he feel any remorse for it? Do you remember?
Judge,
I'm sorry.
Sustained for the record.
Did Ricardo apologize to you for lying on you?
He would apologize if he was told to.
Okay. And you said you characterized Ricardo as like a perfect child. That's an interesting characterization.
Judge.
How do you
Ms.
characterize?
Ms. Wimbush, no commentary, just questions, please. Mr. Conley, Ms. Serenity, anybody need a motion? You can resume your questions. Do you need some water, ma'am?
Do you remember Ricardo doing anything else?
You mean like doing anything else other than karate?
Okay, sure. Other activities. What other activities did he do?
He did gymnastics, he did tumbling, he did dance. That's all I think that's everything he did.
So were you and Ricardo or any of your siblings ever in a recital?
We were in a recital and I was like 5 and I remember y'all kept showing us videos of that. Me and Hope were really messing up and I kept trying to point out to all the other little girls that they were doing wrong. And I couldn't even do what I was doing right.
Okay, so do you remember Ricardo ever getting in trouble for anything other than lying and lying on someone? Did he ever mistreat anyone?
He mistreated, I think it was Faith Love, and he sometimes didn't talk to us right. He wasn't very nice to us sometimes. And it was Faith Love and Jeremiah, and Jeremiah used to be really withdrawn from everybody else. He used to twist his shirt a lot, and he really just didn't talk to everybody else. He was really quiet because something was going on. He wasn't telling us, and it took Isaiah to speak up for him for something to actually be done about it.
Okay. So do you miss your siblings?
When we were at home, things were different. We were closer, and now
I sustain the objection on relevancy grounds. It's not relevant.
am I allowed to finish speaking?
No, ma'am, you can just wait to see if your mom has any other questions for you, please.
Isaiah was like when he was at home?
He was bouncing off walls, that's how we described him, because he was always moving around, always doing something. He was clumsy, I think that's a good word to describe him. Tripping over something, knocking something over. But he was really funny.
Okay. Do you remember Isaiah ever complaining about that bump on his tummy?
He sometimes said it itched, or he might have bumped into a wall and he'd say it hurt, but it was, other than that, no, not really.
Did he ever say that it bothered him?
It only bothered him when he bumped into something on that bump, and he'd be like, it hurts. And he'd be like, Isaiah, what happened? He'd be like, I was running and I ran to the wall. And he'd be like, Isaiah, that's probably why.
Okay. If I don't have any more questions, thank you very much, sweetie.
All right, Mr. Wimbush, any questions?
Back. Only got one more question for you. As far as little Recardo, do you remember him? Did he ever pee in the bed?
Yes, sir. He did it normally when he did something wrong. He normally peed in the bed afterwards.
Did you ever get a spanking?
Yes, because we could never seem to keep the house clean. I remember you once told us to go clean up the toy room, and we just couldn't ever seem to get it clean. We was just up there playing around. And it was me, Hope, and Recardo, and we all got a spanking for that.
That's all I have. Thank you, Joel.
Love you too.
Ms. Mayfield?
Hi, my name's Dan. How are you? You okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just have a couple questions for you. You were talking about Recardo would go downstairs instead of getting a spanking, and that was part of his choice, right?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay.
like nowadays, you know how kids are. If they get in trouble, they get sent to their room. It's like that.
Okay. Now, did Recardo also agree that he should be locked in his room for months on end? Was that what he agreed to, or is that what your parents did? I'm responding to that question.
All right, if you know the answer to that question, Joy, you can answer.
I don't really know. Are you talking about? I'm not really sure. I don't understand the question.
Was Ricardo locked in a room with a chain lock on the door?
If it led up to that, are you talking about like at first or like during the end? Because he was down there and it was his room, so it's kind of been a lot of things that happened there.
Right. When his room was first down there, it was in the exercise room. Is that right?
When he was first down there, he was inside the bunny's room.
Okay. Was he in the exercise room for a while?
He was first in the bunny's room.
Okay. Did he get moved to what used to be the storage closet, the blue room?
He did.
Yeah, okay. And you were telling us that it was his decision to go into his room instead of get a spanking. Is that right?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
Now, was it, do you know if it was his decision for his mom and dad to put a lock on his door so that
I don't
he
know.
couldn't come out of his room anymore?
I don't know. I wasn't part of that conversation. I was a part of the conversation where he decided that he didn't want to get spankings anymore. So she said other kids get sent to their room. So that's what he decided he wanted to do. And we said we wanted to still be able to do things. So we decided to still get spankings.
But was that before or after they put the lock on his door?
Before. It was around the time he first went down in the basement.
Okay. Now, when Ricardo was locked in that room, did you miss him?
If I missed him, I was allowed to go down there and see him if I wanted to.
Did you
But I
ever
knew it
unlock
wasn't
that
fair.
door? Did you ever unlock that door?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayfield, I wanted her to finish her response. Joy, you said if you wanted to, you were allowed to go down, and what was the rest of your response?
If I wanted to, I was allowed to go downstairs and see him. Our mom said we were allowed to go downstairs. If we were ever worried about him, we were allowed to go downstairs and check on him.
All right, proceed.
Okay. Did you ever go down and unlock that door and talk to Ricardo?
No, sir.
You would have had to have asked permission to do that?
No, sir. I was allowed to go down there if I wanted to.
Okay. So you never wanted to?
It never really crossed my mind. If I wanted to know about him, I asked my mom. I asked if he was okay. I asked how he was doing.
When, after that lock was put on the door, did Ricardo get to go to tumbling or basketball or dance or the recital or anything at all with you?
That's actually, that whole question is a little bit,
Okay.
I'm not sure how to explain it, but we hadn't done anything like tumbling or dance during that time, so he could not have gone with us.
Okay, so
But I remember we went to a corn maze once and he was allowed to come with us.
did y'all, after the lock was on the door, did y'all ever go to the movies?
No, I don't think I can remember.
Okay. Did y'all ever do anything outside?
We
Take a
did.
family trip somewhere?
We didn't do any family trips, but I know we did go outside and stuff.
Okay, I mean a family trip to the mall or the theater or the skating rink or something like that.
I don't remember anything specific like that, but I remember every time we went to the skating rink, he was with us because when we were younger, when our aunt and our mom and our dad were trying to teach us how to skate.
Okay, so that was before the lock was put on the door, right? Okay,
It was in the basement.
so would Ezekiel, that's all the questions I have right now. Thank you.
All right, anything else, Mr. Wimbush? No questions, Mrs. Wimbush?
I have one question. I don't know. I have one question for you. Do you remember or do you know how long Ricardo do you remember when the chain latch went on Ricardo's door?
After he tried to run away and he lied to the police.
Was it right after that or a long time after that?
It was like you know how when you're young time flies really fast and you can't really pay attention to the days, but I know it wasn't exactly right after like the next day, but it was sometime after that. I don't really remember exactly how long it was.
Okay. Do you remember having a party? You and Hope planning a party? Was
We planned the party.
Was Ricardo at that party?
I think he was, because we were building a puzzle and we had split into teams, and he was on one team and we were on another team. I remember that. I'm pretty sure he was there though.
Okay. Do you remember when that party was?
You mean like the exact date?
No.
I don't remember. I don't remember the exact date, but I don't exactly remember. Like, I don't know when it was.
Okay.
I just know we had the party.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Joy, if you can just repeat for me, if you can remember what you said about what you were building at the party. Was it a puzzle?
Yes, it was a puzzle. It was a 500-piece puzzle.
Okay, thank you.
Me and my team are building River Run.
Okay, thank you, Joy. All right, Mr. Wimbush, the next witness. That will be tomorrow. Any other witnesses, Mr. Wimbush? I need you to speak up.
No other way.
Mrs. Wimbush,
Is Isaiah not still here? He was here.
I believe we can inquire. Is that the next witness you wish to call?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Sapella, can you let us know if Isaiah is available?
Isaiah's still here.
All right, thank you, Joy. Mr. Sapella? All right, we need Isaiah next, please. Thank you, Joy. All right, Mr. Wimbush, do you intend to question Isaiah? All right, Mrs. Wimbush, you intend to question Isaiah? You can wait.
Sit right next to you.
Hi, are you Isaiah?
Yes.
All right, I'm Judge Fluker. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
All right, the only thing I need you to do is speak up loud and clear if anybody has any questions for you. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Wimbush.
Hey, Isaiah.
I
Hi. Are you okay? You need some water?
no.
No. Can you help me with the picture? I have a picture I'd like to show you.
All right, Isaiah, can you see that picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know what this is a picture of?
Yes.
What is it a picture of?
My bump.
Is this what your bump looked like when you were at home?
Yes.
Yes? Thank you. You said that you were throwing up at home. Do you remember what bathroom you threw up in?
No.
No. Do you remember going to the hospital when you were at home?
No.
Do you remember going to a wedding when you were at home?
Yes.
Do you remember going to a wedding?
Yes.
Were any of your sisters a part of that wedding?
Yes.
Who was the part of that wedding?
Faith and love.
Faith and love? Okay. Do you remember going to the hospital after that wedding?
No.
No? Okay. That's all I have. Thank you, Isaiah.
All right, Mr.
You're
Mayfield.
welcome.
Mr. Mayfield?
No question.
All right. Mr. Wimbush, no further video witnesses for you. Ms. Wimbush, any other video witnesses for you? All right. So all of the minor children witnesses are excused at this time? Mr. Wimbush? Mr. Mayfield?
Yes,
Correct. All right, Mr. Sapella, we are done with this witness, and at the appropriate time, if you'll ask Ms. Wallace to step back in the courtroom, we can shut down the video equipment for today's purposes, but please leave it in place in the event that it is needed again.
Okay, will do, Judge.
Thank you. And Hyatt, if you can assist with that. All right, Mr. Wimbush, you ready for your next witness? Any other witnesses right now? Ms. Wimbush, you ready for your next witness? Okay, let me have the jury step out for just a moment. Wimbush, is Recardo the only other witness you intend to call?
Yes.
Ricardo Jr., I'm sorry. Mrs. Wimbush, other than Ricardo Jr., do you anticipate any other witnesses? No, ma'am. All right. What I'm going to do is we'll have some legal issues that we can take up this afternoon, and we will notify Ms. Wallace to have Ricardo Jr. available to testify beginning at 9:00 a.m. in the remote witness room here in the courtroom. And after that witness, do you expect to rest, Mr. Wimbush? Do you expect to rest or close the evidence portion of your case? Mrs. Wimbush, is that your intent as well? Yes, ma'am. All right, let's, we'll have the jury, they can be excused from that room to report back to jury assembly at 9:00.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, there are some legal issues that I wish to take up. At this point, I'm going to do a preliminary inquiry. And I see Ms. Wallace on behalf of the Department of Family and Children Services is in the courtroom. It is my understanding from each of the defendants that the only remaining minor child witness that they intend to call would be Ricardo Jr. If you will have him available in the remote witness room here at the courthouse beginning at 9:00 tomorrow morning. Yes, sir. And it's my understanding while Ms. Wallace is present, Mr. Wimbush, you do not intend to call or recall any other minor children with the exception of Ricardo Jr., is that correct? That is correct. Ms. Wimbush, is that correct? That's right. All right, so all other minor child witnesses other than Ricardo Jr. are excused from their subpoena at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could I inquire as to the parents of the boys that are placed in Florida, are they also excused?
That is the court's instruction based on my inquiry of each of the defendants. All minor child witnesses are excused at this time other than Ricardo Jr.
I believe their parents are also under subpoena. Are they likewise excused? Yes, ma'am.
And what are the parents' names so that the record is clear?
The foster parents? The relative placement. Wait just a minute, I'll tell you.
All right, if you could just place those names on the record and I will inquire.
Yari Wimbush and Ronald Wimbush, Your Honor.
All right, Yari Wimbush and Ronald?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ronald Wimbush. Mr. Wimbush, are, for purposes of your case, are Yari and Ronald Wimbush excused from appearing in the court? Ms. Wimbush, are Yari and Ronald Wimbush excused from any appearance in the court for your case? All right, Mr. Mayfield, do you have any need for those witnesses? No. All right, they are excused from any further appearance under their subpoena.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, and let me inquire of Mr. Wimbush first. Are you going to need the assistance, other than for Ricardo Jr.'s testimony, are you going to need any other technical assistance by way of computers, laptops, or anything to present any additional evidence tomorrow?
No.
Mrs. Wimbush, will you need any type of equipment to present evidence tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that is the computer to play a recording?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and we'll address that as well. Let me give Mr. Mayfield a moment. Okay, so what I want to do is inquire initially of the defendants on their right to testify or not to testify, and to inquire of them based on whatever that decision is as to whether or not they wish the court to instruct the jury on that decision. So I will pose the questions to each of you. Mr. Wimbush, if you will respond first, and Ms. Wimbush, if you will respond after. All right, Mr. Wimbush, throughout this trial, you have been acting as a pro se litigant, exercising your right to represent yourself. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you as well, Ms. Wimbush?
Yes.
Do you understand that you and you alone make the decision as to whether or not you choose to testify or not testify?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you choose to testify, that you would be treated as any other witness? That is, you would provide testimony on your own as a pro se litigant under oath, and then you would be subject to cross-examination by Mr. Mayfield on behalf of the state of Georgia. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you understand that if you choose to testify, you give up a very valuable right, which is the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Do you also understand that if you elected to testify, you also run the risk of saying something that would incriminate yourself?
Yes.
Have you given any thought, Mr. Wimbush, to whether or not you wish to testify or not testify in your own defense? And what is your decision? All right, and is there any reason that you would need to confer with standby counsel who is present in the courtroom before reaching your final decision? All right, Ms. Wimbush, what is your decision? Have you given any thought to your decision to testify or not to testify? And what is your decision?
I will not.
Do you need any time to confer with standby counsel before you make the final decision?
No, ma'am.
All right, and just further inquiry, Mr. Wimbush, has anybody threatened you, coerced you, or suggested to you one way or the other that you should or should not testify in this case? Ms. Wimbush?
No.
All right, so the court finds, Mr. Mayfield, anything else for the record?
No, Your Honor.
Right, the court finds upon inquiry of each of the defendants, who are each pro se, each representing themselves in this case, that their decision not to testify is being made freely, knowingly, and intelligently after an inquiry upon the court and upon advice of their rights. So that is the court's ruling as to each. Under the law, I only received written requests to charge from Mrs. Wimbush. I have not received any from Mr. Wimbush. In your written request to charge Mrs. Wimbush, you did not indicate one way or the other what your wishes were for whether or not the court would instruct the jury on your decision to testify or not to testify. Let me read what that instruction is, and I read it for the benefit of both of you so that you can tell me whether or not it is something that you wish me to instruct the jury on as it relates to the law on your decision to testify or not testify. I'm only required to give the charge if it is requested. It reads as follows. The defendants in a criminal case may take the stand and testify and be examined and cross-examined as any other witness. You should evaluate such testimony as you would that of any other witness. However, the defendants do not have to present any evidence nor testify. If the defendant or defendants choose not to testify, you may not consider that in any way in making your decision. So that is what the instruction would be to the jury only upon request of one or both defendants. All right, Mr. Wimbush, after having been advised of what that instruction is, do you wish the court to give that instruction or not? Ms. Wimbush, do you wish the court to give that instruction or not?
No.
All right, very good. It will not be given. All right, and I am already in the process of drafting a preliminary request to charge, which is the law that the jury will be instructed upon at the conclusion of the case. I may be able to print out that rough draft, and I think I will. It is certainly not a final draft, but I think I will print that out and give it to everyone so that particularly the Wimbushes will have an opportunity to review that overnight. After reviewing it overnight, we will have a preliminary charge conference in the morning. I would expect to do that prior to resuming with Recardo Jr.'s testimony. We will hear from Recardo Jr. as a witness, and if each of the defendants rest at that time, we'll follow up with a final charge conference, and then everyone would need to be prepared to go forward with closing arguments at that time. Mr. Mayfield would have the opportunity to give an initial closing argument and a final closing argument if he so chooses. If he does not elect to give the initial closing argument, then each of the defendants would first give their closing argument, and he would solely give a final closing argument. Once closing arguments have been completed, then I would instruct the jury on the law, and then they would begin the deliberation of the case. So I'm going to print out the first draft of the court's instructions for everyone. I'll ask Ms. Krepisman if she could, Mr. Geary, if I could have you come around and ask Ms. Krepisman to step in so that she can make copies for everyone, and I'll print out proposed verdict forms. It is my intent to prepare a separate verdict form for each defendant, as there are also separate indictments where issue was joined. Anything on that issue, Mr. Mayfield?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Wimbush? Mrs. Wimbush? All right, so let me just print this out, and it's very rough at this time, but it'll give everybody an opportunity to review it.
If I were to come up with another charge, is it okay to bring that in tomorrow morning?
I'll consider your request in the morning. It is not timely, but I will let you know if I can consider anything further at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Likewise, Your Honor, I also made a oral request on the justification. All I'm asking for is the statutory language, the entire statutory language.
All right, it is part of my draft, but if you are seeking something else, you'll let me know, but it is part of the draft. Yes.
Is it possible for you to spend some time today reviewing to try to narrow down the...
Well, I want to address that, so if you can outline for the record exactly what recording you're seeking to tender, for what purpose, and whether or not in its entirety or certain portions. So can you lay that out for me, Ms. Wimbush?
It is a video interview of Ricardo Wimbush and Detective Churchill. And I'm not seeking to admit the entirety of the interview, but certain segments of the interview. For the purposes of either disproving facts or prior inconsistent statements.
Well, and understanding that a proper foundation would have to be laid even before you could seek to do that. Okay. All right, Mr. Mayfield, at this time, any response?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and so you need to be able to play it so that you can determine which portions?
Yes.
All right, and probably need assistance from Hyatt. So what's his extension? I can email him. Let me email Hyatt to come back to the courtroom. Is it video or audio?
Video.
All right, I'll get someone from AOC here to assist you with that. Anything else? Let's see. So understand that tomorrow it is anticipated, although that is not final, that Ricardo is the last witness for each of the defendants. We will then have a brief conference to confirm the final charges that will be given to the jury, and you each need to be prepared to go forward with closing argument at that time. All right?
Your Honor, if I may, so the DFACS employees are all excused?
That's my understanding, but let's place their names on the record just so that there aren't any issues. Do you have that with you?
I think I know that everyone that was subpoenaed. Kayla Mason, I believe, Letitia Davis, Jamaica Key, and maybe Deborah Brooks.
All right. Each of those witnesses and any that may have been left off but were subpoenaed that are DFACS employees or affiliated with DFACS. Mr. Wimbush, do you agree that they are excused from appearing? Yes. Ms. Wimbush, do you also agree that they are excused from appearing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, they are excused for the record. Thank you. All right, anything else, Mr. Mayfield? If you'll just wait briefly, Ms. Krepisman is getting everyone the jury charges and the proposed verdict form for everyone to review tonight. Mr. Geary?
Can I clarify one witness issue?
All right, Ms. Wimbush, do you wish to confer with Mr. Geary on a witness issue?
Yes.
All right, come forward, Mr. Geary, and confer with her at her request.
May I clarify for the record, the state requested to maintain custody of the state's exhibits overnight?
Yes, all the exhibits that have been admitted will remain in the custody of the state to be returned to the courtroom at 9 o'clock.
Your Honor, I would prefer that the defense exhibits be left with the court.
Correct. That was the state exhibits that you will take possession of. The defense exhibits will remain with the court reporter. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. She has the CD. It's right in front of her. You can just go ahead and grab it. Mr. Gary, may we secure that CD so that we can kind of queue it up? You could be at ease in the hallway if you wish to gather your stuff, and I can have Ms. Crepusman bring it out to you, or you're free to remain, whatever you prefer. We're going to go.
I had stipulated to the authenticity, but would prefer to make sure that it's simply the blank video.
Okay, so why don't you, we are going to go off the record. I am not going to be a part of this portion that is going on. Hyatt from AOC will assist Mrs. Wimbush with getting the video queued up so that she can determine what portions she wishes to play for the witness tomorrow. And you need to determine how you're going to recall, whether it's by the timer or whatever, but you'll need to be able to recall that. And Mr. Mayfield is going to stick around just to make sure that it is the video that he anticipates it to be. Other than that, we are off the record. In recess for the night.